Hello BookTube, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and today I have a little tiny book haul to show you and also a little tiny rescue story to tell you about. Almost 2 weeks ago now, my oldest daughter and I were in the car together, and I was actually headed to a small book sale, of course. My youngest daughter Katie had been at an overnight Girl Scout event, and we had to get up early to go pick her up, so we dropped her off at home, and my oldest daughter Emily was, she was in the car and didn't seem to want to get out, and she's like, well, I got dressed, Mom, let's go somewhere. So I said, well, we could go to a book sale, because there is a book sale a couple towns over that has one every Saturday, and every couple months I try to get over there. In between our town and that town, there's another town in between. So we're driving along on a 4-lane highway in the middle of a business district, and I look ahead of me, and I'm in the lane closest to the median, and I look ahead, and what looks like maybe a plastic bag or something rolling around in the lane in front of me. So I kind of start to slow up because I'm not sure what it is, and then as I get a little closer, I think, oh, maybe it's a squirrel or something, or maybe it's something that's been hit by a car. It's and it's still moving, and which, oh, I hate that. Got just a little closer, and of course this all happened within seconds, and it was a kitten. Well, I slammed on my brakes. Thankfully, the people behind me, I think I hopefully tapped the brakes first, got on the brakes as quick as I could, threw my flashers on, jumped out of the car, and at that point, it had already made it over to the median, and I didn't even really look at it. I just scooped it up, opened my back door, put it in the floorboard, waved to the person behind me, thank you for stopping. Meanwhile, traffic is going around, honking, everything's... So it's a wonder I didn't cause like a 6-car pileup, but there was no way I was going to go off and leave a kitten in the middle of a 4-lane road where the next car to come by would crush it. So I jumped back in the car and kept driving straight, because about a mile from there on the exact same road is our veterinarian. And I thought, okay, it's Saturday morning, it's like 9 o'clock, I think they're open on Saturday mornings now. I'll just drive there and see what I can do. Now, in case you don't already know, we have 6 cats, okay? We've had more than that, but really my husband would like for it to be a little less than 6. He says like 4 is really more than one family ought to have. But anyway, we didn't need more cats. But I got to the vet, and I took this kitten in my hand, and I carried it in, and I said, what can I do with this kitten? Its eyes were completely swollen shut. It had such a bad eye infection that all the inner tissues were just poofing out of each eye. It was so bad. And the girl at the vet honestly thought I was going to abandon it, because she said, well, we do take walk-ins, but you're going to have to wait. And I said, well, what can I do? At this point I'm thinking, can I keep this cat? And, is it going to live? Literally 1 week earlier, we had a little kitten that had come up in our backyard, and we brought it in. We tried to give it a little bit of milk replacer and, feed it with a dropper, and by afternoon it was having seizures, convulsions. We took it to the emergency vet, and $171 later, we have no kitten because they euthanized it, and there was a possible chance that it was rabies. So I was just like, oh, I can't go through this twice, because now here Katie, who was heartbroken over this other kitten, had been asking me for a kitten all week, and I had told her, I said, Katie, we don't need to go looking for a kitten. Kittens have ways of finding us, and they do. So here I am standing there at the vet, with this kitten in my hand, and she's like, well, you'll have to wait. Well, I had left Emily in the car, and Emily has autism, and in order to get Emily out of the car, I also needed to bring all of her stuff. If we were going to sit and wait, then I needed to bring her coloring book and DVD player and all that kind of stuff so that she could have something to do while we're sitting there. So I said, well, can I leave it in here with you while I get my daughter? And she's like, no, and I said, well, can't you put it in one of your cages back there? Oh, well, we don't have room. I said, I know you have empty cages back there. And then it hit me. She thought I was going to abandon it. I looked her straight in the eye. I said, I am not going to leave it, okay? I'm not. But I have a daughter in the car with autism, and in order for me to get her out of the car, I have to have someone else hold this kitten. So finally, one of the techs came and took it and put it back in a cage in the back. And so Emily and I sat in the waiting room for an hour or so while we waited. So then when we finally saw the vet, she looked at it and couldn't find anything else wrong with it except for her eyes. Then, of course, she was covered in fleas and all kinds of stuff, and just looking really pathetic. So while we were at the vet, I snapped a picture just so I could remember, not that I don't know that I want to remember how horrendous she looked with her poor little swollen eyes, but I wanted to be able to see the difference that we could make in her life. So here's a picture of what she looked like at the vet on that first day. And so the vet estimated that she was between 3 and 4 weeks old. So now she's taking a nap now. I have her here. Let's see here. So now she's about 5 weeks old, and I don't know if she'll open her eyes for you to see her face, but I'll show her to you. She's still got some blindness in her left eye, and her right eye is pretty clear now. And she's just a cute little bug in a rug. She's very playful. We call her Boo, and she's adorable. We just love her. Of course, my husband, when I told him that I had brought yet another kitten home, he's like, well, you shouldn't have spent that kind of money on a cat we're not keeping. And I'm like, well, I think we're keeping this one. So anyway, this is our little Boo, and the vet, that first day, she loaded us down with eye drops and wormer and all kinds of stuff. She's been back to the vet 1 week later, and we go back again in 2 weeks. She's a little antsy, but she's doing so good now, and we're just so happy with her and so proud of her. So I just wanted to show you my little tiny rescue. All right. Now, I can't even remember where I got these books. I've got one Florida fiction, I've got a couple of cozy mysteries, a couple of middle grades, and 2 nonfiction. So let me start with the Florida fiction. This is a very famous book in Florida circles. Patrick D. Smith has done a lot of writing, I believe, about Florida and Florida history. And this is a novel, but I understand that by reading this, you learn a lot about Florida history. And this actually has been read by our book club, but I didn't get to read it the month that they read this a couple years back. So I'm looking forward to reading this. I got 2 cozy mysteries, Law and Author by Erica Chase. This is one of the Ashton Corners book club mysteries. And I actually got this one at a yard sale. Poisoned Petals by Joyce and Jim Levine. And this is a Peggy Lee Garden mystery. Couple of middle grade books. I got Shiloh by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. I just listened to this on audio not too long ago, but I didn't have it in print, and I have been collecting a lot of the Newbery winners, so I decided to pick this up for my collection. This is a book I read and reviewed last year. It's called Twerp by Mark Goldblatt. I picked this up for 25 cents at one of our larger libraries that usually have really great deals on books, so I thought I would pass this on to a middle school teacher or put it in our little free library. And then I got this at that same library. This is The 1 Minute Cleaner, Plain and Simple by Donna Smolin. Donna Smolin has written quite a few homekeeping and organizing books, and I do have some of her other books, so I thought I would pick this one up. And then I got this from our church library. Our little church where we've been attending for several years is going to be disbanding, and we have a really nice church library, and I discovered that they had this Philip Gully book called Front Porch Tales. This is stories of family, faith, laughter, and love, and I've been collecting the Philip Gully series books, and this one is just more of an inspirational book. Since our church is disbanding, the librarian has just started distributing books to any of the members who would like to have some of them. I was very excited because I would love to get all of the Philip Gully books. I'm going to kind of leave it open-ended right now in case I get any more books before the end of the month, and I will add those on right here. So now it's the next day, and I had a doctor appointment this morning in the largest town in our county, and it happened to be pretty close to both the public library there and also a really nice used bookstore that I like to go to. So I took a box of books with me. Some were duplicates and some were just odds and ends that I didn't need or want, and I traded those in at the used bookstore, and I got $13.25 credit, and I ended up just getting one book with a little bit of my credit and saving the rest of my credit for later. But what I got was the first book in the Thrush Green series by Miss Reed, and the name of the book is Thrush Green. I got the second book in this series at a book sale of not too long ago, and I'm excited because it has a blurb here from Jan Karen, who is one of my all-time favorite authors. So I don't know what to expect from this book, but I have a feeling that I'm going to like it. Then at the public library, I picked up a handful of books for a quarter. I got The Hero and the Crown by Robin McKinley, and I believe this is a Newbery winner. A nonfiction book called Reading Magic by Mem Fox. It says, Why Reading Aloud to Our Children Will Change Their Lives Forever. And then I got a Lorna Landvik book that I had not heard of. This is called Your Oasis on Flame Lake. Lorna Landvik is one of the 7 collected authors that I have never read, although now I've read a couple of those authors now, but this is one of the ones I haven't gotten to yet. I hadn't heard of this title. My sisters read a book by her and really enjoyed it, so I just went ahead and picked this up because I hope that I'm really going to like this author. I didn't have a copy of this book. And then one other book today, I stopped by a thrift store in a nearby town, and they had a Jodi Thomas book called Rewriting Monday. Okay, then later that same night, I made a late night trip to Walmart to get a few groceries, and I couldn't resist stopping by the book section to see what they had. I don't often buy books at Walmart, but occasionally I find one that I do want that is a pretty good price. And I had been wanting to get the rest of the selection series in paperback. I recently found The Heir in paperback at Walmart, and so now I found Happily Ever After. This is by Kiera Cass, and I don't know if you can see the price tag. I left it on. It was just $8.48, which I thought was pretty good for a new book. And then randomly I found book 4 of The Land of Stories. It was only $7.64. It was the only copy I saw, and if you've watched any of my recent book hauls, I got book 2 and 3 at the Scholastic Warehouse sale, and then I went ahead and ordered book 1 from Book Outlet, and actually I have not uploaded that video as of yet. So anyway, but I do have book 1, and there's book 4. So now I have 4 of these. And one thing I didn't realize, here's the back of the book. I don't know if you can see. I didn't realize that Chris Colfer was Kurt from Glee. So I haven't watched Glee in a while. I watched the first couple of seasons of it and enjoyed it. Now that I have Netflix, I keep meaning to go back and watch some more of it because I only watched a couple of seasons and then got sidetracked and didn't get to watch any more after that. But anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. And then the other day I took Katie to the teen meeting at the library, and one of the girls had another Chris Colfer book, and I mentioned The Land of Stories, and she just about came unglued. She was such a fangirl of Chris Colfer, and so we were talking about the books, and she said that she has read this series and really, really enjoyed them. So I'm looking forward to reading them. Then I got a package in the mail from an author who I believe lives right here in Central Florida. She had emailed me to ask if she could send me her book to review, and I said yes. So here it is. Try to do this one-handed because I have to hold the camera. This is The Lost Night by Candy Atkins. And the cover is kind of creepy, but at the same time it's kind of neat, because here there's a face, and then if you turn it upside down there's a face. So it's kind of interesting. So I think this is a fantasy. I think it's kind of in that in-between, appropriate for middle grade or YA. And so I am looking forward to reading it. I don't know when I'll get to it, but I will try to get to it pretty soon and review it. And it says this is volume 1 of the Lost Night series. So this book haul didn't turn out to be quite as tiny as it was originally because I kept adding stuff, but I hope you enjoyed seeing our little kitten. I might try to feature her in future videos as well and let you watch her as she grows up. But now June is over, and I will definitely wrap up this June book haul. So I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.